Welcome to the Fantasmagorium show. On today's show, the epic conclusion to our Masters of the Universe analysis with the Council of Experts. The Amityville Horror celebrates 42 years of terror. Ghostbusters Afterlife releases another trailer to slime our nostalgia strings. And maybe we'll get to the stories we missed yesterday, but probably not. Maybe. We'll see. Let's go.
And we are live.
Hey, Steve, what's going on, man?
Hey, Scotty, how are you?
I'm well. I'm really well.
Yeah? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I worked a bit this morning on the channel. Got some things squared away. Other than that, just trying to enjoy the day. It's been cool here. Unusually cool for this time of the year in Huntington Beach, California.
Mm-hmm.
We even got a little rain yesterday.
We got the nice, humid, hazy summertime rain in the waning days of July.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I liked it. But we can always use rain. You know, it didn't rain heavy or anything, but we can always use the precipitation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So
it's what plants crave.
Yeah, it is. So we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We got a couple trailers to play. Obviously, off the top, Scotty mentioned that we're gonna round out our 3-part series of Masters of the Universe Revelations. This will be the controversial day. We'll talk about all the controversy surrounding that first part of that series. A huge trailer dropped this morning with the Ghostbusters Afterlife. We'll take a look at that and kind of get our thoughts. But before we do any of that, like we do every day, we ask you to please subscribe, share, comment, like, do all those things. All that stuff really helps the channel grow, and we appreciate that. If you would like to send a tip with your comment or question, please do so. streamelements.com/phantasmagoriumshow/tip. We also have a website where you can find our shows, not only the full-length shows, but short clips. Black Phillip Alvarez shows are on there, as well as a link to our audio-only podcast, and find it at www.phantasmagoriumshow.com. All right, with all that down and out of the way.
Well, before you move on away from our promotional stuff, I did want to mention that we came to a conclusion. We listened to what you guys said in regards to the channel trailer. The music stays. We have adjusted the levels, and I think it looks great. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for subscribing. And don't forget to ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Ring that bell. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, do it now. So you can find that trailer. It's up on the channel. Just go to our channel and check it out there if you'd like to see it, the final version. So as you said off the top, 42 years ago today, July 27th, 1979, the Amityville Horror was released. So we wanted to say happy anniversary or birthday or however you say that to a great movie. Did you like the Amityville Horror?
May I tell you a secret? Don't tell anybody else.
Sure.
I'll never saw it.
Yeah. Okay. I figured. That's okay.
It was something that was on like TV on Sunday afternoons, and it had that 70s sort of hazy film grain vibe, and it never hooked me in on whatever 13-inch television I was watching in 1987. But I was checking out the cast and the director and everything, and the lasting legacy that it has as being a horror classic from the 70s, and they even remade it. And so I would much rather see the original than the remake, but it is on my to-do list that is ever growing.
The original is good. Gregory Peck. I mean, come on, right? I think Gregory Peck's in that movie. Oh no, that's Damien. That's
The Omen. This is James Brolin and Margot Kidder. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to pull. James Brolin. Yeah, the original is awesome. It's funny. You said 13-inch TVs. Back in the 70s and 80s when we were kids, TV sets used to be furniture.
Mm-hmm.
They were stuck in these big, heavy cabinets, and it was crazy.
Oh yeah,
I remember falling asleep in front of this huge cabinet with this little tiny TV set in there. record player on the top.
Oh, I forgot about the record player on the top. Maybe an 8-track off to the side. Right. It was, that was a console. Speakers built into the sides. It was crazy.
Insane. Anyways, so, happy anniversary to Amityville Horror. If you haven't seen the original, go check it out. The remake, I know they did a remake. I can't remember the year right now off the top of my head. I do believe that one's not bad either. I don't think obviously it was as good as the original, but so check them both out. Why not? You have some time this weekend. Okay, so now I know everybody's been waiting for this. Ghostbusters Afterlife dropped. I got a press kit for it today, and came with a poster. It's a coming soon poster, which you see on your screen now, and drop the trailer. So let's just get into it. We'll talk about it on the other side. Okay, so what did we think about that, Scott?
I still don't know what to think about that. It didn't look that different from the initial trailer. I'm excited to see Jason Reitman step into his father's shoes to direct a Ghostbusters movie. I was happy to hear Dan Aykroyd as Ray at the end. I think that's who that was. Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is always a pleasure, but until I see it, I don't know. The trailer hasn't done enough for me to get excited. I just still know that it's out. And also, this was supposed to be released last year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's another one of those movies that it's like, that is my most anticipated movie of 2020 that's coming out at the end of 2021. We'll see what happens. It's a Ghostbusters movie with the Ghostbusters, so I will check it out. Also, Annie Potts. Big ups to Annie Potts.
Right, I love her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great to see her in there.
What'd you think?
So I'm not. Here's my little secret that just between you and me,
Sure.
Don't let anybody know. But I'm not a big fan of Ghostbusters, the original movie. I thought it was okay. I didn't care for the second one at all. Didn't watch the last one that came out a couple years ago. And this one, I will say this about this one. I like Jason Reitman. I think his movie Up in the Air is amazing. I do like the Donner-esque Superman feel of this movie. It feels like it's going to be a good movie, right? Like with the tone and the cinematography, it actually feels like it should be a good movie. I don't know. So I'm holding out hope that it's awesome. But it looks like it can get a little silly, a little off track, but we'll see. I'm holding judgment until I see the movie. I probably will see this. I don't know if I'll be there opening weekend, but I do think I'm going to see this in the theater. So that has that going for it. We always say the job of a trailer is to take your whatever expectation you had for the movie and then level it up a few notches. For me, it did that. It didn't go as high as I maybe would have wanted it to, but it definitely did over the first little teaser we got. So I am more interested in this movie now, and it's nice to see Dan Aykroyd back, and at least we heard Bill Murray. I don't know if there's any plans for him to show up in this thing or not. I don't. I hope he does, because that would be pretty awesome. But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, it does have my interest, but I'm not sure if it has my attention yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I think we're simpatico there on that. Next up, real quick. So just to let everybody know, we're going to kind of fire through these as fast as we can, so we can get to the Masters of the Universe talk. I know that's going to take up a majority of the show. But the first Dexter revival trailer released this Sunday at Comic-Con in their panel. And I wanted to bring that. It's only about a minute and a half. We'll get through that pretty quick. I know this is probably not your cup of tea, but I did love this series, and I really do hope that this new one looks really good. And from what I seen in the trailer, it looks like they're maybe we're gonna get a more satisfying ending to this character now, depending on how many seasons are slated. But it looks good. We'll see how they handle, the story arc going forward. But so let's check out the new revival for Dexter.
So, how are you feeling right now?
Well, it's been a whirlwind. I've always had my demons, and so I went away.
What's up, Jumbo?
Hey, Mr. Lindsay.
But sometimes I have an urge too strong to ignore.
Whoa! Easy there. What is the problem?
I kind of have a thing about blood. Every day I walk through this world, faking it. Knowing if someone knows who I am, that's it. This is all about blending in.
Okay, so that's a little sneak peek at what we have in store for this new season of Dexter. Let's see. It looks like showrunner Clyde Phillips has 10 episode limited series. So it looks like that it might just be that 10 episodes unless it really picks up steam. I'll probably order some more. The Dexter Morgan character is always one of my favorites. I just love the way Michael C. Hall, what he brought to that role. I thought he embodied the character really well. So that comes to Showtime November 7th. It means I'm going to have to get some Showtime to watch that thing for sure.
Clancy Brown.
But yeah, I was going to say, right? But we got our first look at Clancy Brown. Come on, put Clancy Brown in anything and I'm there for it. So that's awesome. John, I think there's going to be some John Lithgow in there. It looks like it might be some kind of flashback scene or more like a voice, right, in his head. So that's definitely interesting. And we do know that Deb is coming back in some form or fashion in the movie. So, or in the series. So that's interesting.
Well, and okay. I hope it provides the satisfying ending to the Dexter story that people feel was lacking in the final season.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why, but a lot of people felt that way. I actually liked it. I thought it made sense to the story for him just to go away. But I know a lot of people didn't like it, so that's fine. We'll hopefully we'll get a more satisfying end. They'll get a more satisfying ending. And anyways, we get more Dexter, which makes me happy.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next trailer is a Red Band trailer that I wanted to show you guys. This is from Epix. Now I don't have Epix either, that streaming service, but this is a new Adrian Brody horror series on Epix called Chapelwaite. And it's this Red Band trailer is a supernatural horror of the Stephen King adaptation. So let's take a look at that and we'll get our thoughts.
Captain.
Dear Cousin Charles, by the time you receive this letter, I shall be in my final resting place.
I bequeath you a magnificent ancestral home we call Chapelwaite.
What do you think? Hardly know what to say myself.
I hear you're looking for a governess.
No.
Your family has a reputation.
Your children, are they Christian?
Some blame Chapelwaite for the illness in town.
The Boons are surrounded by misfortune.
Father, are we safe here? Once the people see that there's nothing to fear, this animosity will diminish.
Unless there is something to fear. I see things. Things that aren't real.
Bad things are coming.
All that you believe is madness. That is my curse. Only I can save you. I'd rather die than to risk hurting my family.
So
wow, that was
happened.
intensity in 10 cities.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this short story by Stephen King. It says it's adapted from Stephen King's 1978 short story.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar at all?
Not at all.
Yeah. So,
but I like Adrian Brody. I like Kate Bosworth. It's another period horror, and I do like the period horror where you can't just call the cops, or having guns doesn't work. You can't get in a car and run away.
Right.
And so I do like that, the gothic horror, when I have encountered it, it is the one that sort of keeps me on the edge of my seat, just because there is no way out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Set in the 1950s. Oh yeah. Okay. So the short story is actually Jerusalem's Lot, which I have heard of, but I have not read, I don't think, unless it's just escaping me for right now. Yeah, that looks good. That looks pretty intense. So
yeah.
I don't have Epics either. So Showtime and Epics are on the horizon, I guess. I'm going to go broke signing up for all of these services.
There'll be a free trial. You'll be able to free trial it.
Right. Well, free trial it. Epics, I think Epics had the Pennywise series that I liked so much. That was a great series. I think it's in season 2 now. I haven't seen the second season yet, but yeah. So Epics looks like it's stepping up their game.
Good.
Yeah, looks good. Just a couple more quick ones. And this we won't go into much. Just to tell you that filming has begun for Ant-Man 3.
Quadromania.
Quantumania.
Quantumania. Pardon me.
Quantumania. Director Peyton Reed posted this on his Twitter the other day, and basically said it has begun, or it begins. Day 1, principal photography. So, okay.
Well, and that's Cassie's bunny from the first one. So I'm glad that there is a little bit of a callback.
So, yay for bunnies.
Ant-Man 3 is coming. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I like the first 2 Ant-Mans. And Paul Rudd. Again, Paul Rudd goodness.
Paul Rudd. Everybody's coming back. So we're looking forward to that. Also, and just one more quick thing before we get on to our panel. Galaxy Quest TV series is happening with Simon Pegg.
Yes.
Screenwriter Georgia Pritchett says, says she's. I thought it said he's, man. I'm going insane. Said she's working on a Galaxy Quest TV series adaptation with Simon Pegg attached. So looks like we're going to get more Galaxy Quest. If you like the movie like I did, this should be awesome.
Yeah. Well, sorry. I really. Sorry, I zoned out. I was preparing for the panel. I love Galaxy Quest, as many people have pointed out before. It's the best Star Trek movie that isn't a Star Trek movie. Yes. It was always rumored to have a sequel in some regard, whether it be a TV series or another movie, and then the unfortunate passing of Alan Rickman sort of threw that up in the air. I'd be interested to see where they go with it. I trust Simon Pegg with most genre things. I know not a lot of people like Star Trek Beyond that he co-wrote, but I thought it was probably my favorite of the three Kelvin verse Star Trek movies. So I look forward to it. The only thing that I'm concerned about is, will it have Sam Rockwell? Is Sam Rockwell coming back? I would very much like that. Rock Ingersoll is amazing.
Yeah. The Galaxy Quest series is reportedly in the works at Amazon with Simon Pegg attached. For years, there have been rumors of the new Galaxy Quest sequel happening, but the planned project lost most of its steam when Alan Rickman passed in 2016. Some of the original stars have still teased a follow-up in the year since. And now it appears that the TV series adaptation is in the works. So yay for that. Can't wait for that to come out. Obviously, it's going to be some time before it does. It's in the early stages, but it's just nice to know that it looks like that's a go at Amazon. We've been talking about Amazon and their big tent poles. They got a couple of big ones. This might actually be a big one for them if it's done, right and correctly. This could be a huge win for Amazon.
Well, and also for Tim Allen. I'm sure he's looking for work.
Yeah, I wonder if he's coming back.
He has to.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it's gonna. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him back in the role.
I want the entire cast. Obviously, we're not going to get Alan Rickman, but it's the chemistry between everyone that did make the movie work so well, and so I hope that they can still recapture that spirit.
Yeah. Okay. So enough of the news. I know you guys really want to hear bring on our panel of judges. Our panel of experts talking about Masters of the Universe Revelation. So let's, without further ado, we'll introduce TheRichard. Hey, Rich.
Hey, man.
Bunyon Snipe. Tony J. Skeletor joining us. Awesome. And Terje.
Hey,
Heidi ho.
Heidi ho. Okay, so we covered on Friday. Here. On Friday, we covered the kind of the history, if you will, and some of the background of Masters of the Universe. Yesterday, we covered more of the first 4 episodes or so. Today, I think we'll probably going to be a long one, but we'll cover not only the ending, the show as the first part 1 at least in totality, and then kind of some of the pushback, backlash, and controversy surrounding the project. So, Scotty, if you would, I'll let you go ahead and take over this part of the show, and we'll look forward to seeing how it goes.
Well, and I know you guys, and thanks again for being with us. This is really exciting to get a fan's perspective, super fan perspective. But I know that this has a lot of the champions that you've been aching to discuss over the last 4 episodes. But the general plot for episode 5 is an unexpected friend from Tila's past issues grave warning that the company may be trapped in Preternia forever. Meanwhile, Roboto sacrifices himself to rebuild the Sword of Power. Now, just opening it up to everyone, and Richard, please make sure that you're not muted. I believe you are in the muted category currently. One of the biggest plot points of the original show, wasn't it that Skeletor had one of the swords and He-Man had the other one, and if you brought them together, that was... I remember even in the toys, if you could have one half of the thing and then put it together. In terms of
the toys, definitely came with the other halves. I remember Skeletor mainly using his Havoc staff, though, in the film or in the shows. Sorry, I'm feeling under the weather today. I'm going to try and speak up.
Yeah, you're getting we're getting a lot of feedback too from you.
Not sure why the feedback.
That's way better. That's better. Thank you.
You're okay. Awesome. So that was something that I always took away just based on the toys and the show itself. He did use the staff, of course. This seems to be the culmination of what it is to be a master of the universe, to carry the mantle of He-Man. And as Richard mentioned, or as Tony mentioned a couple of episodes ago, that Adam is one of the few champions who has chosen his lesser form when he arrives into Preternia. How did you guys feel about the representation of Preternia, about the spire of Grayskull and King Grayskull himself as well?
It was colorful.
Oh, okay.
It was neat to see these other characters. I wasn't very familiar with them and had to look them up in the character guide. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, somebody else go.
I wasn't really familiar with like the history of all the heroes of Eternia, but I've seen pictures of the figures, and some of them I knew, some of them I didn't. But it was really cool to see them all together, like going on this adventure, hunting down this wildebeest, and I think it worked really well. And I think also Preternia was represented in a good way. It was kind of a mix between something that could have been prehistoric and something that they made into kind of this like afterlife place, which like totally made sense for all these deceased heroes to have this place where they met. And that's where this thing comes in, which you mentioned, Scott, and Tony mentioned a few episodes ago, with the fact that Adam was the only hero who chose his lesser form. He was Adam instead of He-Man, and that's an interesting fact because that's the opposite of kind of Superman, because as we all know, Clark Kent is Superman's alternate ego. It's not the other way around. Mm-hmm. And in this case, He-Man is not Adam. I think Adam is He-Man. Adam is the person behind He-Man. He's the same guy as He-Man. He's just bigger, stronger, and has more features. But I think essentially they're the same person.
Well, there's this thing about Superman, because this is what I contend. This is what Quentin Tarantino got wrong in Kill Bill. Now, he says that Batman is just Bruce Wayne pretending to be Batman, whereas Superman is Superman pretending to be Clark Kent. But I think it's actually the other way around, because Superman, Kal-El, was brought up as Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. He spent his whole life being Clark Kent. As far as he's concerned, he is Clark Kent from Smallville, right? That's who he is. Bruce Wayne died in the alley,
right?
And the Batman is who he really is now. And the facade that he puts on is not when he's in the mask, but when he's Bruce Wayne. That's the facade.
Bruce Wayne is the mask.
Yes. So I think that's one of the things that Tarantino kind of got wrong in Kill Bill, but that's another thing altogether.
Yeah. But in regards to Adam, who do you think is the true representation of that character? Do you think Adam is pretending to be He-Man, or do you think He-Man is pretending to be Adam?
I think in this particular mythology, I think Adam is the real person, and He-Man is the is him plus the power of Grayskull.
Okay.
He-Man was bestowed upon Adam. Mm-hmm. It was always Adam, and then one day, he held his magical sword aloft and all that jazz.
Yes.
But it's a bit like Richard Corbin's Den character, where he's kind of this kind of nerdy kid who gets sucked into this parallel universe and becomes this huge bald guy.
A little heavy metal for you.
Yep. Played by John Candy, of course.
Oh yeah.
He's got his door count apparently. But yeah, so
yes.
But yeah. So this was a great episode, and it was great on many levels. I mean, clearly they wanted to get as many of the toys in as possible this episode. They got now there was an Eternia playset that was basically Snake Mountain, Castle Grayskull, and the Palace of Eternia, right? And that's what they used in this for Preternia, the three towers. And it was a really cool idea. Yeah, it was a really kind of cool idea. They took that. But also, back in 1987, so basically, there was this thing we were talking about the other day, the New Adventures of Superman, where they thrust Superman and Skeletor like 1,000 years into the future, and it was a sci-fi type thing. But before that happened, they were working on a toy line called the Powers of Grayskull, which would have been a prequel to the main storyline, and it would have the main character would have been a character called Hero, who appeared in this episode. He was the one with the gold, with like all the gold on and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I love the fact that they got all these different mounts, and they're not just all riding a version of Battle Cat. I really like that as well. Yeah.
I also thought it was funny, the scene where they're kind of gagging over the fact that they're meeting Hero, who is one of the biggest like legends of Eternia, and he's like standing there with the two swords and kind of clinking them together like he's some really big, strong, incredible moron. And I thought that was really charming.
Yeah.
Hero being an ancient wizard, right? He was more of a sorcerer than a barbarian.
Yeah, and that's the direction they wanted to go with the toy line. But I think it was just like it was the toy line was starting to fall out of favor, and they wanted to change it more radically, so they just went off in a completely. And Star Trek Next Generation had literally, just come out, 87, 88, and it was obviously they were looking at that and going, maybe we should go sci-fi. Maybe sci-fi is the way forward, and that's the direction that they went. So
to kind of track it back to the episode. And we were talking about the difference between Adam and He-Man. I thought that was really interesting, the dynamics between Adam and Teela. Yeah. And I've heard a lot of people say that they thought she was portrayed as very too bitter, too angry about not knowing the secret of He-Man's identity. And my take on it, and it might be controversial or different, I don't know, but let's just break it down. Teela is obviously in love with He-Man. She's a very dear friend of Adam. So when she finds out first that this has all been kept to her because she is inner circle in this gang. But the second thing is there's kind of a catfish angle here, because she's in love with He-Man, and suddenly she discovers that, okay, so He-Man is the same person as my friend Adam. How many times do you think they've had a wine party and she's done his perm and she's talked about how much she adores He-Man? Yeah. Makes sense.
Hey, Adam, that He-Man, he's so dreamy. Don't tell him, okay?
Yeah.
Well, and that's a culmination of things that happens, and I know that they have sort of a spat in Preternia talking about, and Adam says, I died, and Teela's like, yeah, and we're the ones who had to live with it. And it's not necessarily having to live with picking up the pieces after He-Man had died, but she is the one who felt the most betrayed by everything being revealed on the day of He-Man and Adam's death. Yeah. And so she's bitter. I don't even know if we're supposed to think that she's correct in her bitterness or her anger.
See, that's a very valid point. At the moment she realizes that her father, Men-at-Arms, knew about it, Orko knew about it, she, who spends the most time with him, she's training him constantly. They go play. She probably does do his hair, or he might do hers. I don't know.
Well, let's face it. When he was gone, her hair kind of went off in a weird direction.
Oh, that's why.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. All right, haters, there you go.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you could tell upon first viewing when she's side-eyeing him and everything. She has the emotion. She loves him. So regardless if she has a relationship with Andra, it doesn't matter. When people get older, they experiment. So maybe they do it. It doesn't change the fact that she loved He-Man.
Yeah, well, and did you speaking of Teela and Andra, did you feel that Teela and Andra do you think that there were longing gazes between them, or were they just adventurers going off across Eternia doing mercenary work, or do you think that there was something more there?
Well, they were definitely close as sisters, I would say. They've been together for a long time in whatever capacity, because like whenever they're going to get the I don't know, was it the goblet or the bag of stones or something, and she tosses it to you, or when actually in the episode 5 when she says eavesdropping or something, it's kind of cute. So they've got they do have a relationship of some kind. I just don't know.
Well, those nights are long and cold.
I didn't really get a tone of something sexual or a relationship there. I just found them to be really like tight.
Yeah, I thought they were just partners, adventure partners.
Yeah. So I really can't speak to much of this because I only saw the first 2 episodes. I did think that her character was annoying and basically a little over emotional. She overreacted to what happened. Maybe that corrects itself. Teela, yeah. Maybe that corrects itself later on. I don't know.
I think it's taken a little bit too long to correct, honestly. Yeah. But maybe it had to deal with the Adam here.
But I absolutely did pick up. My sense was that they were trying to relay that the 2 women were together, but maybe that was me reading way too much into what I saw on the screen and not what was being told in the story.
Well, and based on the first episode, when Teela gets all butthurt and resigns and leaves and says, "You've all been lying to me," and even I forget the name of the Queen of Eternia.
Marlena.
She knew, but she wasn't like included in the opening introduction of the people who were in the inner circle of He-Man. It was just a mother knowing what was going on with Adam and He-Man, and her supposition of who He-Man was also drove home why Teela felt so betrayed and also embarrassed by it, because, well, if the Queen knew, how did I not see it? I feel like if the person who had to figure it out wouldn't share it with me, then not only are the people who are hiding the secret, but the people who have figured out the secret are keeping it from me. And I found that bitterness runs through and falls away in the last episode when they go and they're on the beast hunt with on the disc hoverboards. And it was like they're back to being buddies. And then when they get to that glade in the clearing and all that, there's an entire... No, wait, we still have unresolved issues, and it's not a matter of clearing up what Teela was feeling. That was the first time that Adam and Teela had actually been able to, jaw a bit and say, so what the hell happened, man?
And also, I think you're into something there with them doing the gliding and the adventure, because that's actually something that reminded her of being with He-Man.
Yes.
Because that was fighting, adventures. So she kind of connected with the He-Man inside of Adam, I think.
Absolutely, and then Moss Man returns, giving a little bit of advice to Adam on precisely what I just said.
Voiced by the original Skeletor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Luke Shriver. Yeah. Oppenheimer. Yeah, Oppenheimer. Yeah, and it was. I love his voice. I at first when I saw that he was playing Mossman, I was afraid. They've relegated him to this lesser character, but he ends up coming out the wise one. The spiritual guide. In essence.
And on a complete side note, he's one of my favorite actors just because he was the one-off discount Captain Picard from the second season finale of Deep Space Nine when they blow up the Odyssey. And it's like, hey, it's Captain Picard. No, it's just a bald guy. But he has such a commanding voice. He's just, whenever he shows up, I'm happy to see him and hear him. He's a very prolific voice actor.
He was in Deep Space Nine?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. I have to go back and watch that episode.
Season finale of season 2.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then, so we have the ominous warning of this is the reward. Preternia is the reward for the champions and the heroes. If Adam goes back to Eternia, that's it. You've shunned you've turned your back on the ultimate reward for the champions, and you will die. If you die in Eternia, you will not be returning back to Preternia. This is your choice, and he decides to stand with the heroes of Eternia and return to what are they doing again? I just want to say saving Eternia, but when they go back,
he goes back and he calls upon the powers of Grayskull, and you can see the sorceress trying to go into the beam, and he's kind of bringing the magic back to the land.
Okay,
I did skip over the sacrifice of Roboto, and I apologize for that.
I've got a question in regards to this sacrifice he made. What are the odds? What are the odds that the rest of the champions also make that same sacrifice, and that happens? The last episode of episode number 10. What are the odds? Episode number 10 is gonna. The big battle is going to be all of the champions coming back and teaming up to take down this new threat.
I would say earlier than episode 10, I was meditating on this. It makes a lot of sense. At first, I was thinking, why would they be going back to defend this version of the reality? Well, what if that Super Skeletor, whatever we're going to call it, can destroy all the different Eternias at once.
All reality.
Yeah. All reality at once. So everybody is put in a situation where they've got to help or die.
Or sacrifice themselves for that. Yes, absolutely. That's it. That's an interesting question. I'm kind of seeing as we get into part 2, which shouldn't be too far away. Apparently there are a bunch of scores have been locked for some episodes. There have been we're closer to part 2 than we think.
IMDb has been updating things on a daily basis.
Okay.
Yeah. So we still don't have a date, though. Oddly, it put episode 6 in part 1. I don't know why. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe I'm misreading this. Hold on. Or are we confirmed for a season 2? Let me double check this. It says 3 seasons. But, and so on season 1, it's got 7 episodes listed so far. The last 2, 6 and 7, they don't have any description, but it does say 2021.
Oh, wow. Okay. So then we have Roboto forging the sword and ultimately sacrificing himself and having emotions in a classic android I can feel. It's a miracle. I don't care if it's fear, but me having the feeling makes me a real boy, if you will.
I got some real Data vibes from that scene. I did.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a bit
of Pinocchio. And Pinocchio.
Even the way he spoke was kind of Data-esque.
I've got a feeling the first episode is going to be a deep dive into Skeletor's backstory. I think we're probably going to get a new version of whether or not they use the Keldor thing, I'm hoping they go to Keldor because it's they can do the Gar and all that stuff. Bring in Cyclone, that'd be cool.
Mechanic.
I think you're most likely right because we haven't seen that much of Skeletor in this, and for us to be afraid of him, we need to see how he got there.
Yes. And that makes perfect
sense. People have been bitching about the fact that He-Man was missing, but we've seen far less of Skeletor so far in this than we've seen He-Man, and I think Skeletor is probably as popular as He-Man, if not even more.
Well, this is another thing. So I mean, if we go back to Skeletor's origin, it means that we're probably going to see the Horde, and it means we might even see the Snake Men as well. So what if Skeletor is so powerful now that he can actually control the Horde and the Snake Men? And actually make it a necessity that the other champions come back.
He would have to dominate, and he would dominate Hordak's ass so bad because Hordak treated him like crap. Hordak is the new painting that I'm working on. I'm so excited. I would love for us to see him, and then he gets his butt kicked by Skeletor. And then towards the end, though, I don't know, maybe if the roles reverse and Hordak takes him back in as a slave or something.
And that could be season 2.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
Well, and I think as we get further,
I'm sorry,
Steve.
Yeah, I did want to jump in and ask a question. So I'm confused. So season 1 is 2 parts then, so we're getting 3 seasons of 20 episodes, 2 10-part episodes.
Yeah, exactly. I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
So that's the way. Are they counting this as season 1?
Yes.
This is season 1, part 1.
Okay, so then we'll have season 1, part 2.
Yeah.
And then season 2, part 1, and so on and so forth. Okay.
Now, I've not read that anywhere except here on IMDb. It's got seasons. It says 3 seasons, but I think that the third one is just, it says other, so it's probably going to be documentaries or whatever. But the first 2 seasons, season 1 already has 7 episodes listed.
Okay.
For season 1. So that means that there are at least 2 seasons.
Okay.
Do you think they might, because it's Netflix, do you think they might be jumping on the Netflix only does 3 seasons bandwagon?
Oh, maybe. It's IMDb too, so they're kind of iffy too. It's pretty.
Take it with a grain of salt. When stuff is
Yeah.
under production, IMDb is not really a good source for info.
Right. Okay. That was my question. I was just kind of confused as how do we know how many seasons are we getting? Are they counting 10 episodes or the first 5 episodes as 1 season, or 10 episodes as 1 season? So it looks like 10 episodes are going to be season 1.
That's correct.
Just in 2 parts. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
It's like a Disenchantment. I don't know if you ever watched that show. I really liked it. They did 5 episodes, and then a year later, they did another 5 episodes.
I hope we're not waiting a year to get season 2. They need to stop doing years in between these 5 episodes. Parts.
Well, I mean, don't
That's
forget.
ridiculous.
I mean, this show was announced nearly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I remember with Dan Harmon talking about Rick and Morty, the latest season of Rick and Morty. It's like, oh, it's all written, it's all voiced, but guess what? Drawing takes a long time.
I was just going to say, animation takes I can attest to that. An animation takes a long time.
So I'm excited for it. So we get back to Eternia. We are going Castle Grayskull. We fix everything, and then Evelyn turns out to be evil. Who knew it? It's in her name. And the last magic that was in Evil Lynn's scepter was housing Skeletor, unbeknownst to Evil Lynn. Beast Man and Evil Lynn had seemed to have shaken off their evil ways and were just looking to save the universe until Skeletor showed up, and everyone ran back to Skeletor. Beast Man was like, hey, boss, And Evil Lynn looked a little bit sad, and it was like, but I think she even says, "That's too bad. I was beginning to like you guys," and goes right to Skeletor. Kids.
Well, that's just the way it is living in an abusive relationship.
Now, well, and this is something that, just to transition over into the controversy and regarding the reception to this show, would you consider it to be a woke plot point for the woman who is the sidekick to the main bad guy to return to the bad guy, or typically would that sort of storytelling have the formerly subservient Evil Lynn become the more powerful of the villain trio, saying, "No, I'm not taking this anymore, Skeletor. I will battle you"? I think it would be much more of a situation where Evil Lynn going to Skeletor sort of negates a lot of the identity political concerns that people had. I thought that was very striking when I saw it the first time.
But also, they always do that in like cartoons and movies. When the bad guys turn good, it's usually always a temporary situation. It's kind of like a truce. But I in this series, it did seem really like she was turning a leaf, and I do believe she believed in the good thing she was doing. Well, when she put her helmet on Orko's grave, she kind of reminiscent and with Tila, and she also spoke about the fact that she felt like Skeletor had kept her down, and that's why I said the thing I said about being in an abusive relationship, because really Skeletor is an abusive guy. He's an overlord. He just uses people.
Oh, he's
so the moment he comes back, he just snaps his fingers, and the people who have been kind of proud getting out from his bones, they just creep back in. And I think it's very human. It's actually very human.
Yeah, agreed. And I just thought it was a trope that I thought was flying in the face of the PC narrative that had been created around it, saying that, okay, we got rid of He-Man so that Tila could be elevated. And I disagree with that, simply because I think the entire show is about dealing about the loss or betrayal, perceived betrayal from He-Man. And then with the redemption of Evil Lynn and Evil Lynn returning to Skeletor's side, I thought, no, we're not getting a more powerful Skeletor in Evil Lynn. It is back to the status quo, and as it is not a trope, but a tried, tested, and true storytelling technique, I thought that it was something that, if it was truly trying to turn the genre or the show on its ear, it would have been dealt with in a more, no, Skeletor is going to get beaten, and it's probably going to be a chick who does it.
I could easily see Evil Lynn being friendly here and there, doing favors for, say, Tila, or anyone.
When Orko returns, that's probably what's going to make her finally see the light side, if Orko returns, mind you.
Oh, he'll be back.
Yeah.
He'll be back. Oh, we should talk about our predictions at some point.
Yeah. Well, Richard, now seems like a good time. What are your predictions, sir?
I predict Orko will be back.
As do I.
Shocker.
Number one, he is a beloved character. Kind of going on what we're about to talk about in a little bit, about the hate and the negativity that's been spreading. People are saying Orko was never a beloved character. That's BS. That guy right there is one of the most popular characters. So, or most beloved characters. He's definitely going to come back. And he's a magic being, and he died in a place of the dead, and I would imagine the place of the dead is going to get pretty popular now that Skeletor's in charge. That's going to, a lot of energy and magic is going to be popping up down there, I would imagine. I'm speculating. So Orko will find his way out. We may have one called Orko's Journey, or the Journey of ... and come to find out it's Orko's Journey. How he has to escape the nightmare world and all that. Okay, that's one prediction for me. Somebody else go on.
Talking about that, I think you're right with that, and I actually think Scareglow may assist Orko in coming back, I think he might. Yeah, I've got a weird feeling that Scareglow may be part of that. I don't know. It's just a hunch.
Well, you don't get Tony Todd and then not use him.
Well, exactly, right?
But of course, the big question is how is He-Man going to get his powers back? Because there's no question.
How's he going to stop being dead first?
Yeah, that's a big speed bump.
Oh, we don't know if Adam is dead. That's the thing.
He's only a flesh wound. Well, we know he's not dead because they've actually gone out and said that he's not dead. He's just very, very wounded. So they've kind of spoiled that just to, I guess, calm people down from thinking that they actually killed He-Man just at the moment he was coming back. So he's going to be back, and they've said that the second part of the season is basically going to be about him trying to regain his powers. And there's where the big question comes in. How is he going to do that? Because he's now just a mortal man. And he has this gang of friends around him that can fight, but how can they match the powers of Skeletor with the power of Grayskull? And this is where the thing Tony said, that maybe the other heroes will also come out of hiding to help. I think that seems very plausible. The big question is, how are they going to contact them? And I think maybe Orko is going to be some kind of conduit between the two.
And also, if Adam has the power to just become He-Man in Preternia, perhaps see, this is a thing, right? So if these champions come into the real world, will they remain champions, or will they become their human selves? Because
darn good question.
If they don't become their human selves, that would suggest that Adam doesn't need the sword.
And I hadn't thought of that until just now. Maybe he can say, I have the power, or maybe one of the heroes, maybe King Grayskull will show up and sort of, boop, you are now He-Man, and you get to, it's only a flesh wound now that you are He-Man again.
There has to be some way around it. Yeah,
I've got a feeling they're gonna all 4, 5 of them. They're all gonna sacrifice themselves to give him their power, and he's gonna become He-Man through their sacrifice. I've got that sort of weird.
Or maybe we'll get the amazingly cheesy episode where there's like, in today's episode, we learned that He-Man had the power all along. He didn't need the sword because the power was within him.
You know, that's absurd. I like the idea of the others sacrificing themselves, and he retains their memories and their skills, or something like that. I don't want to see him doing magic. I don't want him to be the Iron Spider, you know. Yeah. But if he had the knowledge of all these different eras, and that would explain a lot of how he knows these different types of animals and everything, different creatures, different races, maybe speaks different languages.
Well, there is that one champion who doesn't necessarily speak a language that we know.
Flea boy.
Exactly.
Boy.
So
I'm just gonna come out and say it. You guys are nerds.
Nerds!
These guys are nerds.
We're more geeks. Really.
Yeah, we are geeks. It's pretty geeky. It's pretty geeky talk, man.
Nerds,
I love it though.
Technically speaking, nerds don't do pop culture.
Right. Right.
Well, during the course of these 3 conversations, my virginity has grown back.
Right. Exactly.
We're gonna call this episode Scott's Hyman.
Right. There we go.
Yes.
It makes it Scott's He-Man.
Yeah.
There we go. So getting into the controversy and why everyone is upset. This starts long before the release of the show, right. And there were tweets and insiders and people in the know talking to other people in the know, saying that this was going to be a Masters of the Universe that sidelined He-Man and elevated Teela to being the primary character. Kevin Smith responded to these by sarcastically blowing it off and saying, no, we're not making a Masters of the Universe show without He-Man. It would be suicide to do such a thing. And then back and forth happened, yada, 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 drama. We don't believe it's going to be woke. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. The show is released. People watch the first episode or read a few reviews, and they say, it's exactly as we thought. It isn't He-Man. He's not in the show. It's all about Teela. They've elevated this character, and they've sidelined He-Man and Skeletor. What do you guys think in terms of the reaction, or even before that, what Kevin Smith was doing to promote or derail his own television show? Well,
if episode 1 was a film, I would agree. But it's not. It's part of a TV series. It's part of a wider, bigger narrative. So to take one episode, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And a lot of the flack in print, anyway, or on YouTube, is they killed He-Man. They killed He-Man. Nobody killed He-Man. He-Man did the greatest, most heroic thing imaginable, and saved the universe, sacrificing himself. It's a story arc that all heroes strive for. It's what he would have wanted. And Teela, that's the whole Teela thing is we talked about that already. Her struggle with acknowledging the death of her two friends and the lives of everyone around her, but giving her the mantle, she didn't. Yeah, we did focus on her because she's a tough character. She's a good character, and she was his ear the other shows. Yeah, she was in He-Man's ear. Who are we going to follow? The Adventures of Orko? No, we're following Teela. It makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tony, how do you feel about? Did you follow any of the Kevin Smith banter back and forth before the show started?
I heard some of it, but I didn't really pay much attention to it because why not just watch the show?
Oh, I agree with you.
If you want to, if you're really interested in these characters, then maybe watch it until its conclusion. Obviously, a lot of these people are now going to, they're not going to watch the show now, apparently, and that's their choice, I suppose. But I don't know. People jump to conclusions. People like to judge a book by its cover.
It's easy. It's easier than actually watching everything and actually coming up with with your own conclusions. It's easier to say, oh, I heard somebody said it was woke or something else, or He-Man's not in it enough, or whatever the reason. I heard this from somebody else, so I'm just going to skip it. I hate that. I hate that attitude.
And also taking over. Yeah. It's okay.
Well, I was just saying, it seems like people are really eager to jump on the hate wagon just to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Sorry for popping out for a few minutes.
That's fine.
I'm one of those amazing nerds who, for some strange reason, managed to have kids.
Oh, congratulations!
Mazel tov. Thanks.
Right? So at least you've been laid twice.
Yeah, two times.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What was I going to say? Oh, and one of the criticisms that I saw today was a person critiquing the original show and saying that parts of Masters of the Universe, like He-Man Masters of the Universe, the original Filmation cartoon, had brilliant writing. Now I don't remember that much about the Master, but brilliant writing was not something. It was never intriguing to me as a child, and then revisiting it as I got older, I appreciated it for what it was in a nostalgia. But I never found it to be groundbreaking children's television. It was a toy commercial, and I looked forward to it because it was people with their toys mashing them together, and it looked awesome and it sounded great for my 6-year-old brain.
this person might have been into drugs, because this is the show who made an artichoke one of the best villains.
Yes.
Evil
So
Seed.
it's almost the rose-tinted glasses of looking back on a perceived, like, cornerstone of 80s pop culture, and it is, but beyond I Have the Power, it's gentlemen like you who have actually followed the lore, and you know that what's going on in terms of the production of the comics that came with the action figures and how it's developed since its initial release. Following that, the people who are jumping on now, is it more Kevin Smith's involvement that makes him a public and easy target?
Well, he said some things that contradicted what. I mean, he was saying, no, that's not true. That's not true. Now, the meat of the argument is some people did get rumors that essentially ended up being true, and Kevin Smith was saying, no, that's not true. They appear to be true, as in the first couple episodes of what we saw, and because, like you said, because they appeared to be true, that reinforced their own hatred and negativity, and it just spread like a wildfire. Everybody who wants to be popular wants to talk about the popular stuff, jump on the bandwagon. He-Man is shit. It's She-Man now. It's clickbait, and some of the arguments are justified, though. Some of them really are. I think we gotta see the whole darn show, and that puts us in as defenders in an awkward situation, because we're not entirely sure how it's going to end, though we can justify almost everything that has been shown in the first 5 episodes. I think Tila is overreacting, though she's in PTSD mode, and it's kind of uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I did find her kind of unlikable, and I thought that was unfortunate. But I still get where she's coming from. And it's like, okay, she's the lead of the series, but I do believe that when we get the next 5 episodes, her mood and demeanor and the way she's been acting is going to be having a redemption. The character is going to go through something, and at the end of the season, she's going to be at a different place than when she started.
She's going to evolve to the sorceress. She's not going to turn into He-Man. I saw somebody put up art of her wearing the He-Man armor and stuff. And it's so stupid. I mean, it might possibly happen, though that's not her ultimate goal, or that's not her story arc. So, I mean, she's not aware of it. The 2 times in these 5 episodes, the sorceress and also Man-at-Arms tried to tell her who she really is, and it got cut off. Evelyn cut off one. I forget who cut off the other one.
So is she the product of Man-at-Arms and Evelyn?
No, sorceress.
Sorceress?
No,
now,
yes. So it was sorceress and an unknown soldier who apparently died fighting for Eternia. But
now, what do you think? Do you think it is Man-at-Arms? I know he adopted her. I've always kind of thought it was.
Yeah, I think that's the most probable.
I think they're going to do something different with it, because I've never really known where she came from in the comics and stuff. Never really hit me.
Well, episode 6 of the original show talks about it, and then it literally shows her.
Well, there is one possibility, and the one possibility, it could be a pre-Triclops. Triclops could be the father, because he's the only villain that's really human-like, really, and he possibly doesn't have any memories of who he was, so he could have died defending Eternia, but then been turned into this sort of monstrosity by
the motherboard.
Yeah,
before the motherboard, but yeah,
before the motherboard, yeah.
But I'm going to put this. I'm gonna put this out there in case, for some strange reason, I might be right, because there was a moment earlier where Evelyn was speaking about having a crush or a fascination with Man-at-Arms, and then later they come to this scene where Man-at-Arms is trying to tell her something, and then Evelyn is like, no, we're not doing this.
Oh, okay.
So I do believe maybe in this story, Man-at-Arms and Evelyn might be the parents of
okay. Possibly, and you're right. Evelyn did interrupt him when he was going to tell Tila that she's going to be the sorceress. I didn't think that he might have told her, "Oh yeah, this bitch over here is your mom."
Now that's Kevin Smith dialogue.
So that puts a whole that's an interesting. Maybe Tila would still end up becoming the sorceress because she has the power of Evelyn. I don't know. That's something I never thought about. I'm getting excited.
In like Kevin Smith dialogue, he was like, "I had sex with her before she became Evelyn. She was just Lynn.
She was very good, Lynn. She was very good, Lynn.
Nice.
Well, let's see.
Pleasantly.
Tony, what do you think about that? What do you think about that, Tony?
No. I'm going back to the original lore here and saying that Tila's whole purpose is to become the new sorceress
and replace her mother.
Yes.
And I like that. And I am absolutely with you. We have only seen the first 5 episodes of season 1. We don't know the entire story. A lot of people are jumping on this bandwagon just because of reasons. A lot of the people that I've talked to who dislike it haven't watched it, and a lot of the people who do like it are He-Man fans as knowledgeable as yourselves. And everyone else seems to be like, why is there a fight going on in the corner over He-Man? Do we need to clean up or what? What's going on with society?
Well, that's another possibility about how Adam comes back to life, is that Sorceress gives her life to bring him back from the dead. And she dies, and then and then we get so I think this is how I think it's going to go down. I think the first episode is going to be a Skeletor flashback that ends with Sorceress giving her life to save Adam, and then the second episode will be the Sorceress's backstory, which will tell you all about Tila's birth and all that stuff, and her destiny to become the sorceress.
Interesting. That'd be cool. I do have a question. Getting back to the controversy stuff, do we think that the backlash would be as big and as pronounced if there wasn't this kind of perceived Kevin Smith lie or contradiction?
Yeah, no, I don't think there would be as much, because in the beginning,
right?
In the beginning, say like Clownfish TV were doing their reporting, and that's where I was getting a lot of my news, and they were reporting this, and even though they were getting some of the rumors and everything that we have today, I didn't mind them, because in my head, I started piecing together how it's going to go based on everything, all the books and everything that I know. And so it still made sense to me. What got bad is when Kevin Smith started denying everything, and kind of calling out people. He just should have kept his mouth shut. That's really what... He should have kept his mouth shut.
Yeah, it just added fuel to the fire, I think. And I think because of that, it got blown way out of proportion. I think, if people had problems with Tila, the way Tila, looked or acted, or the fact that we pretty much killed off the two main characters in the very first episode, I think that people would have gotten over that faster. Not the people that make money by hating everything, but just your average watcher or viewer would have gotten over that a little quicker if this if that I don't know, for lack of a better term, that I wouldn't want to call it a lie, but this is kind of equivocation back and forth. I think that just really added to the fuel to the fire. It's unfortunate.
He might not even have intended to lie or try to negate the whole issue of the storyline. I think maybe he was just interested in not having people already know kind of like 70% of the storyline before it came out.
That's a great point. Look, all we can do is our best at any given day, and sometimes we're tired. He's got things going on with his movie, with Clerks 3, and all this other stuff going on. You can't be 100% of the time. I don't care who you are. You just can't do it.
Also, I don't really care. Like the people who make our entertainment are just people. Of course, they get upset when people are criticizing their work before it's released. I would be pissed if I put like months and maybe years of work into something, and then just some keyboard warriors were like slaughtering my work even before they saw it. I would be really pissed.
I mean, I don't think Kevin Smith by this this late in the game really gives a shit about people slamming his stuff. People have been slamming his stuff since it first came out. But I do think he added to the drama instead of letting it just kind of plateau and go away. And Scotty, unless you have any more, or any of our guests, unless you guys have any more on the controversy part, we could go to the comments and questions.
I only had one more thing to add, and it was in regards to Kevin Smith. Again, I'm a fan of the show. I thought that it was nice to revisit these characters in this land, and it did excite my nostalgia for it. I don't think that it deserves the hate that it's getting, but in terms of Kevin Smith as a creator and a person who has been a public figure since the early 90s, one of the first podcasters, he is on record as saying that he was never much of a He-Man fan. He has said that he's had conversations on his podcast where he shat all over He-Man, and then when asked how he felt about He-Man and the check was going to clear, he was like, "Oh, I loved it." Richard?
Yeah, the media is what, you're right. He's on record of saying I was never a fan, this and that and everything, and then Netflix and stuff. There was a process here. You could see it kind of breaking down when you're looking back, and he says he loves it. He loves it now. He didn't love it. He's not things that were written about him are also not true. He was never a diehard fan. He liked the property. He got to watch. I forget how many episodes he said. It wasn't the right amount, and it wasn't the right year that they came out. But he got to watch them, and he loves them, and he's really proud of what they're doing here. So,
I have no problem with that. Listen, if Netflix came to me tomorrow and said, "Steve, we saw the Pale Man, and we want you to do He-Man, and here's how we're going to back up the Brinks truck to your front door," I'd learn to love He-Man really quick. I'd figure out how to love it, and then I'd make the best thing I could make, right? So,
I'd get the pillows.
I'd make sweet love to that man.
Right, right. So, I mean, it is what it is. This is what the.
It is what it is. Yeah.
What people in fandom need to realize is that creators sometimes create for money. It's actually their job to do that. What? They don't always just get to do passion projects. So, I don't begrudge him at all for not liking something and then liking it later when somebody was paying him to do the show.
Passion project. That's my middle name.
Passion.
Yeah. Project. And let's transport it, Scotty, to something you and I know. Nicholas Meyer. He knew nothing about Star Trek, but he made the two best movies.
No. Yeah. Harv Bennett, being a producer, was asked to produce it because he was a workhorse television producer. He had no idea, and he went back and he watched all 79 episodes of the original series, and he found he may not even like it still, but he did. Well, think Harv Bennett has passed away, but he may not have liked it until his dying day, but he still had reverence for it and created a story that pushed that story forward. If you were to watch Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan in today's climate, it'd be like, what are these people talking about being old? They're supposed to be swashbuckling space adventures. How could you kill Spock? Yeah. This is awful. Spoilers for Star Trek II. Yeah, it's just something new, and it is, you roll with it. And I don't understand the hate, and I think that I think Masters of the Universe Part 1 of Season 1, in my opinion, has been a success.
So I do want to. I'm going to go around the horn and ask everybody what their thoughts and feelings are about the entire Part 1. But let's do that after the comments. Let's go ahead and take comments, and we'll see if we can answer them to the best of our ability, anyways.
Mm-hmm. Gabba says, looks like another pass of the torch to the female who is the key to everything. I think this is in reference to Ghostbusters. Yeah, but if she's a Spengler, right, I'm fine with it.
Or it could be a Tila as well.
It could be Tila as well.
It could be Tila.
It could be. Gabba says, no surprises in the Dexter trailer. How does it entice people who weren't going to watch it anyway? Steve, if you were not a fan,
I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it was actually. This particular trailer, because it was released at Comic-Con. I think this was directed towards fans. It's only 90 seconds. I don't believe this was made to entice new viewers. In fact, I would be surprised if they really care too much about marketing directly to new viewers. I think what they'll do is kind of bank on the cachet that the name has, from the original series, and go after people that watched it. I'd be surprised if they spend a lot of time directly marketing to new viewers, other than to say, here's this cool show coming back and we're reviving it, that kind of deal.
I can kind of chime in on that because sure. I've only seen the very first season of Dexter when it came, and I never continued watching it. I know it's a good show, but it just never happened. And I think this trailer looks so enticing and interesting that I am really, really going to have to go back and watch the other seasons, because I really like this. I really like the setting of this crazy serial killer guy living up in nowhere town and just trying to hide his identity. That really speaks to me. So I want to catch up and get there.
Definitely go catch up. There's a couple. Some seasons are better than others, just like most TV shows. The season with John Lithgow is amazing. So, you'll just go through it and then watch the new one, and we'll talk about it on the show.
Yep.
Next,
PJ Maybe, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Just popped in to say hi. Not sure about the Ghostbusters trailer. Looks meh. The horror is too scary for me. I'll stick to classic horror.
I think he was being a little cheeky there.
Possibly. He's been known to be that way from time to time. Oh, sorry.
I think the trailer looks really good. It took me a couple times to watch it and think about it, and it's touching all the right nerves. Now we just need the humor. We need the humor, not Ghostbusters 2 level, but the humor of the first one, because it was kind of serious. It had the humor, and
it did pull on the nostalgia strings for sure.
For sure.
Oh yeah, I'm itching to say something about the trailer. I'm not going to do a long-winded thing, but I just have to say that Ghostbusters is one of my real things. I watch both the Ghostbusters movie at least once a year, I think. They've been with me ever since I was a kid. I love them both. Behind me to the right over here, I have a canvas painting of Vigo from Ghostbusters 2. And I'm one of those guys who think that Ghostbusters 2 really isn't the lesser movie. I know the first one is better, but I'm more entertained. I have more fun watching the second one.
They're fun. They're so fun.
So for me, the female Ghostbusters thing, throw it in the fucking toilet. It's a waste of time. But this movie it's the original guy's son. The father is in producing. They've gotten all the Ghostbusters back. They're gonna be in the movie, and I love the last scene when you can see that they're calling Ray at his occult bookstore.
Yeah,
right.
Such a great moment, such a great moment when you see Annie Potts.
Ernie Hudson's
gonna be back. Bill Murray's gonna be back. They actually
I'm not
released...
a big fan of Ghostbusters. I'm a huge Ernie Hudson fan, and I loved his character.
Well, here's the thing. Not only is Ernie Hudson back, but Winston Zeddemore is a doctor now as well.
Is he?
So he got his doctorate at some point over the last
PhD.
32 years.
Awesome. All right, what's next?
They kind of did a spoiler where they released an image today of Ghostbusters figures with the older Ghostbusters, and there's Ray, Winston, and
Venkman.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I saw that, and I want an old man Bill Murray action figure.
Oh, and also we saw Terror Dogs.
That was the Terror Dog busting out of the Walmart was one of my favorite parts of the trailer.
Yep.
Gabagabane says, looked pretty good. Problem being, it already doesn't play fair with the point of view. When they correct hallucinations, it robs the power.
Dexter.
Is that in regards to the Jerusalem plot adaptation?
I'm not sure if it's the Dexter or the Jerusalem's lot. Yeah, when they correct. Because he's hallucinating in the mirror.
Yeah, he's got. Leave it to Adrian Brody to hack up his nose.
But at the end, he's still seeing them. So are they real or not? Well, I guess we'll have to see.
We will have to see.
His nose is real.
Yeah,
it is quite real. PJ maybe says, "Oh dear, the movies was fantastic. Modern TV Hollywood will kill it."
Not sure what that's in response to, but
let's just agree.
Yep.
Hey, Todd Michael, yo. Gabagabane says Amazon's big tadpoles.
No, they'll be big. They'll be big. Lord of the Rings is going to be huge. Wheel of Time is going to be huge, and this one will probably be massive too.
And with Galaxy Quest, just deep fake a CG Alan Rickman. Don't Peter Cushing Alan Rickman. Don't do that to the man.
No. Is there someone who could play him if they recast? Is there someone we?
No, I'd rather it start with his funeral.
Yeah.
What about Michael Wincott play his character?
No. Interesting.
No.
Well, I'm with Tony. Send them into space. Play some bagpipes.
Yeah.
All right.
Gabagabane says panel NFA. What does NFA stand for?
Awesome.
Okay, great.
Norwegian
PJ
Parrot
maybe?
Association.
PJ maybe says, "Gotta go. You have the power." Thank you for stopping by, PJ maybe. I hope you hit the like button.
Thanks, buddy.
Gabagabane says, "Bravo." Todd Michael says, Adam/He-Man equates more to Billy Batson, Captain Marvel in my book.
That's the vibe I get.
That's a good
Very
point.
good comparison. Yeah.
Question from Todd Michael: how old is Adam supposed to be, and how old is Tila supposed to be? I thought that they were contemporaries. I thought that they were ballpark the same age.
They're ballpark.
He seems younger in the series.
He does, right?
Well, we didn't get there in the chat, but I didn't like the way Adam looked in this series. It wasn't my favorite look for him.
Well, Adam is a problem. Adam has always been a problem because, again, going back to the original concept of He-Man, he was never supposed to be Prince Adam. He was supposed to be a wandering barbarian. And then the Filmation thing came along and they made Adam identical to He-Man, which made it pointless. So...
Big muscular guy in a pink shirt.
Yeah. And
the toy is identical. It was slightly different in the cartoon. I mean, it was the
same. It was the same. It was the Mike Young cartoon that made them different. But even so, Prince Adam has always been a really problematic character, just because it was clearly shoehorned in. You know,
we didn't address our complaints. I'm just saying, like I didn't necessarily like the Adam character, and I didn't.
Let's go around the horn real quick and do that. I think that's a good idea. We'll start with you, Rich.
All right. King Randor absolutely ticked me off. I couldn't believe he acted like that. Even before the death, he was a dick.
And kind of makes Skeletor's point. If he's that sort of person, maybe he was never. Maybe Keldor would have been a better king. You know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Then the Tila being overly all about herself, that was sometimes understandable, but it was still too much here and there.
It was off-putting, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm sure there is. That's it for me right now.
Tony, any complaints?
I pretty much the same as what Rich just brought up. Really, yeah. Randor's character, the way Randor reacted was completely. It was just awful. It was completely the opposite to the way you would expect that character to react. It's certainly if you were a fan of the original series, because he was like a fatherly character, and yeah, it just completely, it kind of destroyed that character more than anything, I think. But then again, like most things, I was never really a big fan of that side of it anyway. It always felt tacked on, that whole the King Randor, Queen Marlena, Prince Adam thing. It always seemed unnecessary, but you know.
It's good to see that they also, the royal family of Eternia, is basically like any other family. They're fucked up. That's always good to see. My complaint. Well, I really do agree. I didn't really think too much of the Randor issue because he wasn't in it too much. But yeah, when you say when the Richard and Tony is saying it, yeah, he was a bad father and then probably also a bad king. My other gripe is the fact that Tila was a bit too angry and bitter, and the third thing is that Adam was more of a girl than she was.
Scotty, do you have any complaints or gripes or quibbles?
Aside from the stereotypical hairstylings of Tila, which I thought was a lightning rod for anyone who wanted to hate it in the first place, I felt the character motivations were there. The thing is that the precipitating act is the death of He-Man and Skeletor, and there had to be something that really just spread the core of the Defenders of Grayskull across Eternia, so that you had the getting the band back together adventure campaign. And so I don't have complaints in regards to that. It's really just certain aesthetic choices, but I got over that rather quickly. I really didn't have any complaints with it at all. I'm looking forward to part 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on then.
Merman's voice. Yes. That's always gonna be a thorn in my side.
Stupid Batman. Todd Michael says, "What do you think of the title? What do you think the title Revelation means? Adam being He-Man, something in the final episodes in which we get that Tila is the chosen one."
There are two revelations.
And what were they, Richard?
I just lost my brain. Tony, help me. Help me, Toby. Tony one.
So what was the question?
What do you think Revelation means in the title Masters of the Universe Revelations?
Well, I think the revelation that perhaps Tila had a revelation that her best friend was like He-Man. Maybe that was it. Maybe the revelation that this champion that they've been reliant on for so many years was basically a child.
I think there's one more That was the first one, and I think there's one more, like in the second to the last episode, or maybe. Oh no! Episode 4 with Scareglow, Tila and everyone, but especially in particular Tila, realizing that she's afraid of success, she's afraid of her potential, and she's afraid of. She acknowledges that when she's encountering Scareglow, and that's how she defeats him. She has a revelation. This is how I need to move forward, and she starts. That's the first time we see her start to have a little bit of power, like in her magic. I think that was that. Okay, those are the two right there.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be her heritage.
Possibly, yeah. And again, ascending to sorceress. I don't whether that means that she's the chosen one. I'm sure people are going to get butthurt if she is. What do you mean? Tila's now the sorceress? All right, whatever. It seems like a natural progression to me, but people are going to be angry about anything these days. What do you mean you didn't cut the crusts off my sandwich? Get it out of here. Todd Michael says, I wonder if Steve's gaydar is working in relation to Tila, asking for a friend.
Absolutely. It's absolutely working. I think. I don't know. Thanks,
Todd Michael. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with having more friends.
Right?
Todd Michael continues, I want to know why nobody is talking about Randor's out-of-character behavior. Which, there you go. That really bothered me. Yeah, and we did get there. Thank you for being one step ahead, Todd Michael. Oppenheimer is 92 years old.
Wow, nice.
Hey,
awesome.
Good for him. And the beat goes on. TheRichard.
Hang loose, buddy.
Aloha.
Oh, Todd Michael corrects.
That changes everything. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a lazy ass. Beat goes on. Gives some devil horns to Bunyon. Adora appears in final episodes and kicks everyone's ass.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
If we're getting Hordak, then we have to get She-Ra, and I absolutely want. I want the She-Ra franchise. Though, what's the deal with that, though, Tony? There's a licensing thing.
Yeah, there's some serious licensing stuff. Mattel have the She-Ra licensing thing, because it was oh god. So when Filmation did the She-Ra show way back when, Lou Scheimer wrote all these things. And that's why you really haven't seen that much. It was like when they did the Master of the Universe Classics toy line back in the 2000s. It was a bit of a problem doing She-Ra. They managed to do it in the end. Ironically, She-Ra was one of the first figures they did in the Master of the Universe Origins toy line this year. So maybe these things are changing, but it's going to be a while before we see She-Ra. Because I don't know. It's just an odd. The continuity is so messed up.
Does that mean no Hordak?
Hordak. So here's the thing. Technically, the version of Hordak that appeared in the She-Ra series in the 80s was kind of came from a parallel dimension or something. Right. But the version of the Hordak of the Horde that was designed for Mattel still owns the Horde fully. Oh, okay. Or they will for another 2 years. Right. But so the Horde appeared in the Mike Young series, but She-Ra didn't in 2001. So it's all very convoluted. But I know I mean She-Ra. To be honest, She-Ra. The whole She-Ra side of it doesn't really play into this. I don't think. I mean, they might do it. They did a really interesting version of She-Ra in the comic when DC had it, and they made her this. She wore like a Hordak type mask, and it was really cool. She was basically like the evil version of She-Ra, and that was really cool. But you know.
And the beat goes on, continues to say, I'm a He-Man mark, but I love Skells too. I just like seeing two heavyweights fight. It's like Rocky and Ivan Drago.
I thought you were going to say, I really thought you were going to say it's like Rocky and Bullwinkle then.
No, heavens, no. Although, no. Todd Michael says, why is Zodak?
Where is Zodak? Why is Zodak?
Why is Zodak? The question is.
Todd Michael says, Evelyn was the best. She's going to turn on Skeletor. Just you wait.
Wait.
Oh.
It might happen. It might happen.
Start your Rule 34, gentlemen.
Hey, he brought up a really good point about Zodak. I mean, Zodak being the most powerful, he's a cosmic being, so he could be the tie. I'm going back to the immediately one before. He could be the tie between all of the different universes, with Hero and King Grayskull and stuff. Do we know, does Zodak...
Well, there are two different Zodaks. There's Zodak with a C and Zodak with a K. And they're basically two separate... They're basically different characters. And they both have very different origins. So it all depends. I like the idea of Zodak being a member of this interplanetary police squad. And again, this was what I would have wanted from a Master of the Universe cartoon series way back in the 80s, was to have made Zodak the main character, being sort of stuck between these two constantly fighting armies, and he's sort of him trying to figure out what's going on. But obviously they went with He-Man being the main character, which is fine. But He-Man in the original toy line was just another character. But when the Filmation series came along, they felt they needed to hang it on someone, so they thought, well, He-Man's been around a lot. He was one of the two original so there were 8 figures released originally in 82, but the first 2 of those were He-Man and Skeletor. So most kids either owned He-Man or Skeletor. So they thought, well, most kids probably own He-Man, so we'll make him the main character. But I mean, you could pretty much make any of those characters the lead and make it work. He-Man could quite easily be a side character.
Getting back to Zodak, though, do either of their... I see the 2 variations. One appears to be mostly out of the comics, and the other one from the animations. They do have different abilities and everything. Do you think that Zodak could be could he be introduced at some point?
Well, he was originally pivotal. Well, he was one of those characters that was because there were 4 good characters and 3 villains, and then Zodak was kind of tacked on there. He was just assumed to be a villain at the beginning, but then the mini comic came out and he was kind of more ambiguous. So it was, it's just one of those things. But he's a really fun character, and it's really cool to see the other members of that species as well.
Okay, and the beat goes on, says Evelyn has Stockholm syndrome, and I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we all kind of agree with that, right? Yeah.
Todd Michaels says, "Damn you, YouTube on Android."
I don't know what happened there.
YouTube on Android is the real villain.
It is the real villain, yes. Todd Michael continues, Skeletor is not healthy for Eternia. She knows this. It'll come back to haunt him. Yeah.
But the thing, I think what it is as well is that they need Skeletor as much as they need He-Man. They need the balance of good and evil. It was like this whole idea that Darth Vader would bring balance to the Force, because Anakin Skywalker being balanced to the Force, because he would kill all the Jedi that were making it imbalanced in favor of the Jedi. You know.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see who of the 3 billionaires going to space is the evil one.
Bezos.
Oh, so many. Probably the one who puts a laser on the moon. Todd Michael says, justice for Orko, and I want justice for Orko. I think we all want justice for Orko. And also, thank you, Todd Michael. This is a good point. If you guys want to respond to this, can we talk about how kick-ass Orko's new animation model?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was great.
They really made him into a full-fleshed character and not just a floating rag.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and Richard, big ups to all of your artwork in the background there. I know that's all yours, and it looks fantastic, man. You've been getting shout-outs everywhere you show it.
Thank you.
Don't thank us. You're doing the work.
I like the new Orko. That's another complaint that was going on before the show started. A lot of people, or many people, they were saying we don't like female Orko. It wasn't female Orko. It was old Orko.
Emaciated Orko.
It was emaciated Orko. And the new detail and everything to him, like you said, the model and everything, it looks really good. I'm glad to see he got chipper when he found his confidence and stuff. And yeah, we're gonna see him again. He's not gonna revert back to this version, because we're totally moving forward with the technology and everything. And yeah, it's gonna be fun to see him again. And maybe he's gonna have his own quest to find his race, find others of his race. That's the prediction.
He's totally going to come back as Oracle.
Thorko?
No, Oracle. His intended name.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I agree with you, Todd Michael. He did look so much better. He actually, again, as Terje said, he's a full-fledged character now. He was a member of the team, and he could be cowardly and a little bumbling, but it didn't mean that he wasn't powerful.
It was like the Greatest American Hero. It's almost like he lost his instruction manual.
Yeah. Todd Michael says, perhaps the true meaning of He-Man is the friends we met along the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you guys, regarding that, him along the way, friends along the way, what do you guys think about how this is one long story and we don't have a moral at the end of each story, each episode?
Yeah,
Does that bother you? Or?
No, it's what I wanted.
Yeah. I liked it. I like the continuing campaign. It feels like, hey, you better than most know about like the tabletop role-playing games. This felt like a campaign of all of the Masters of the Universe toys that I grew up with and some that I wasn't familiar with. So I'm fine with it being a serial as opposed to an episodic show.
Well, this is why the Mike Young series from 2001 was so much better than the Filmation series, because every episode of the Filmation series was one and done. It ended in the same place that the status quo didn't change. Whereas with Mike Young, each season was supposed to take them in new directions. The first season was kind of more like the original series, that they gave you some backstory as well, which they didn't in the original series. They gave you a little bit, but not a lot. But then they gave you sort of the history of Eternia and Keldor and all that stuff. Season 2 was the Snake Men, the invasion of the Snake Men. Season 3, which never happened, was going to be the invasion of the Horde, and He-Man and Skeletor would have to team up to take on the Horde, and that didn't happen. And then Season 4 was going to be the future, and it was going to be King He-Man and King He-Man's kind of stupid, right? It would have been King Adam, but and it would have shown you what the future would have been. But sadly, that never happened.
That is sad. I really would have loved to see the Horde.
Yeah.
And just continuing on, Todd Michael says, if you're not aware, the Snake of Snake Mountain fame is trans. I had no idea. I respect Snake Mountain's privacy.
Right.
Todd Michael says the Phantom Menace sites were always going to hate it. That is what drives their numbers.
Yeah, I mean, look, they do. There are some valid points, like the Richards was saying earlier. They do have a couple of valid points, but I do think there are several sites within that, underneath that umbrella, that basically use it just to drive clicks and make money. And hey, more power to them. We're not here to talk about other YouTubers or hate on other sites. That's not what we do here. But yeah, we agree. I think we agree.
We could say that Yoda is going to say like, hate leads to clicks.
Hate does lead to clicks.
It does. Unfortunately, yeah.
Leads to clicks. Does hate do? That leads clicks to hate does.
Oh, trying to parse out a Yoda. It's so difficult sometimes. And the beat goes on.
I really enjoyed watching
the channel. You must, because I will throw at you.
Yes, leads to clicks. Leads to hate. Anyway, something like
that degenerated quickly.
I've really enjoyed watching all these videos, even the hate ones. There's only so many I could take, but I'll watch like 4 hours of them while I'm working in the other room, and I'll just play them so I can hear everybody's perspectives. There's a lot of good perspectives.
Listen, we always say knowledge comes from the debate here. And if you don't know what the other side is saying, there's power in knowing what the other side of the argument is. That way it helps you better. It helps better inform your positions.
I get upset when me liking something is an obvious sign of me being deficient or dumb or just incorrect or blind to culture or something like that. It's like I was watching a He-Man show and they did He-Man things, and yeah, I was fine with it. And it's like, well, clearly you're part of the culture war, and it's like, no, it was a dude. No,
I don't give a shit about the culture. I do, but I don't. Not everything has to be political or politicized.
Right. Exactly.
There's one thing someone told me once that I will never forget. He's one of my very best friends, but this was early in our friendship, and he tried to show me an album by a band called Godspeed You Black Emperor, and I didn't dig it, and he was kind of insulted by the fact that I didn't like the album, and he told me to my face, if you don't like this album, you don't have a soul.
Yeah.
And I was
absolutely.
Like, okay.
that explains why grocery store doors don't open for me automatically.
Yeah.
I say that about Jaco Pastorius, by the way. I say if you don't think Jaco Pastorius is amazing, I think you don't have a soul.
Probably the best bassist who ever lived.
Oh, amazing, yeah.
We will have a bass player roundtable in the future.
At some point, maybe.
And the beat goes on, continues. Good point. You can't really control PTSD. No, you can't. And people struggle with it for a long period of time.
Someone very close to me has PTSD, and I can say that yes, that is in fact a thing.
Richard and I both being former military can attest to that.
Mm-hmm. And the beat goes on, continues. Could Tila be a combo of Man-at-Arms and, I was going to say Scorsese, Sorceress?
Scorsese, yes. Sorceress, yes. So yes on all accounts.
All accounts.
I've got a weird feeling that Duncan, or as he was in Filmation, is going to become Man-at-Arms again.
Duncan, Idaho from June? Awesome.
Yeah, I think so. And it will be Jason Momoa as well.
Awesome. That's the crossover I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Sorceress is Tila's mom. Isn't Sorceress's name Tila Na?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been many things over the years. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was. God.
I don't. So I'm pretty sure it was. I was always under the impression that Sorceress was Tila's mother.
Tila Na and others. Yeah. God, the goddess, Zor, Tila.
So I I'm pretty sure that's probably going to stay the same. The father may change. I would assume that could change.
Well, I mean, it's like going back to the toy line again, as you said the other day. You know, the goddess and Tila were the same action figure. That they couldn't be bothered to make two different action figures, and the sorceress was really introduced. Filmation didn't entirely introduce the sorceress, but the design was very Filmation, and they brought that into the toy line later. But originally, it was the goddess, not the sorceress. Yeah.
Terje, I saw you.
Yeah.
I saw you chuckle at this. Do you want to read this chat out?
Yeah. I just had to laugh because that's my kind of humor. Yeah. Todd Michael says Gwildor is Tila's father, and that would just be amazing.
They're both gingers.
They're both gingers.
Yep.
And
Very
this
good
is the
point.
thing. This is one of the few things I prefer from the Filmation than the mini comics. In the mini comics, Tila was blonde, and I much prefer her as a redhead.
The redhead.
Yeah.
I've got
I'm
a
right there with you.
Wildor figure somewhere. I've been slowly finding, my action figures and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Like, we didn't talk about this. People were complaining about the cross turning into the arm or the H.
To the H, yeah.
And this is canon, man. This is
it's always been interchangeable, I think, dude.
Yeah, and people were complaining. Not only are they race baiting and this and that, they're changing everything.
Let's bring back the Iron Cross.
Bring back the Iron Cross. Yes.
All right.
The Templar Cross.
It's a Templar Cross.
It's a Templar. Yeah.
Wasn't at some point a swastika?
No.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
makes sense to me. Like, we are recruiting, and by we I mean they. We can edit all that out. Forget it. Stop it. Don't bring up swastikas anymore, Terje.
Come down to the meet. We have one.
Don't mention the war.
Night.
Don't mention the war.
Todd Michael says Kevin Smith equals the new Kathleen Kennedy. Seems that way, at least for this past couple weeks here.
And I would like to say, if you mean a person who has a very prolific career until recently and has become the object of hatred by a bunch of people who don't really know the ins and outs of behind the scenes of Hollywood and filmmaking, then yeah, I agree with you. Leave Kathy alone, and Kevin has made some of my favorite comedies. I don't care if they trip and fall every now and then. They're still successul artists.
As much as you hate them, their wallet just gets bigger.
Okay, Scott. We need to sit down. We need to sit down and we need to do a watch party for Tusk and Yoga Hosers, and maybe when Moose Jaws comes out, we need to make that a trilogy.
The trilogy.
I will watch the Canadian trilogy with you, Tony. That is a deal. I would be happy to.
Yes.
Cam says, and again, welcome, Cam. Hi, Scotty, Steve, and the panel. Good to see you all and hear what you have to say. Thanks. No, thank you, Cam. And the beat goes on, says, did you get the mosquito, Bunyon?
No, yeah. It was there. Yeah, there's still part of it on my hand.
Nutritious and delicious.
Hey, yeah, right.
Cam says, and Cam, show off topic. I haven't seen Val the documentary yet. I thought he had mentioned that he did yesterday, but I could have been mistaken. I was talking about his roles like in Real Genius, an underrated movie. I read about it and I intended to watch it though.
I was going to bring that up yesterday. We just kind of scrolled right through it, but Real Genius is one of my favorite Val Kilmer movies.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
And the beat goes on, says, do you all think that this Masters of the Universe run will last multiple seasons? Well, from what we've seen, it looks like we should be getting a trilogy of seasons. And if these numbers keep being driven up by people who despise it so much, then Skeletor will be a happy man.
Yeah, talk about laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. Right on cue.
Moves. So perfect. The beat goes on, says Thorko is a great artwork idea. Yeah, I want to see Orko with Mjolnir.
Thorko.
Yes.
Captain Benzino. Hey, you're a new fella. Yeah. Or Captain. I don't want to assume anything.
Right.
Orko versus Scareglow was a really fun scene, I must admit. I thought it was a great battle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Check it out. It's Tony Todd versus Orko. I mean, that is so cool.
Right.
And the beat goes on, says, I think most TV shows before streaming were episode by episode and not a lasting arc, although there were some exceptions to that. It is true, yeah, and it had a lot to do with reruns. You couldn't always catch the you couldn't catch the reruns in order, so having the serialized arcs didn't make a whole lot of sense. But thank heavens for streaming, I suppose.
Much easier to sell a show that you could kind of show out of order.
And the beat goes on, says Cliff Burton.
Cliff Burton? Who's Cliff Burton? I don't know.
I don't know, but I appreciate you contributing.
The bassist from
Just keep throwing random names in there.
Bassist, yeah. That, yes. Yeah.
See? Thank you, Tony.
He was a great bassist, but I don't think he ever got anywhere close to the complexity of Jacob Pastorius.
No. Okay, so that'll do it for the.
That catches us up.
That catches us up with the chat. I said, I wanted to go around the horn and get everybody's thoughts on the complete part 1 of the season. I think we'll start with Terje.
I really liked it. I think I'm most likely going to wait a while, and then I'm going to watch it again before the second part hits, because there was a lot of stuff in there, a lot of things to take in, and I think there's more stuff there to take in than I managed to get on the first run, because there's so many characters, so many things to see. My overall kind of impression is that it was really good, so I give it like 8 out of 8 rib bones.
Oh, awesome. 8 out of 8 rib bones. Awesome. Terje, thank you very much for before we let you go, thank you very much for coming. I also want to make a quick announcement that both Terje and TheRichard have agreed to moderate the channel and help us grow the channel. And we thank them profusely for that. It's really awesome when people volunteer their time to help you out, and we couldn't be more happy about that.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Terje, can you tell everybody where they can find you online?
I really don't have an online presence to speak of. I have an Instagram account, but I don't post stuff there. I have a private Facebook account, but
what about YouTube? Okay, well, you can find Terje
here. You can find me here. That's actually if you want to see me do like raunchy comments and stupid jokes, you can find me here.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Again, thanks a lot for being on the show, and thanks for agreeing to help us out. We really appreciate it, and we will see you tomorrow.
We will. As we.
Oop. I'm sorry.
It's too late.
Oh, I was just saying, as we say in Norway, ha det på badet.
Well, mazel tov to you.
We're loving
God, now
it.
it's in my head.
All right, Terje.
Thank
We'll
you,
see you
Terje.
tomorrow, buddy. Thanks.
Pleasure. Is he coming back tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Well, he'll be in the chat. He's going to be modding our chats. So
That's true. That's true. All right.
We got a late comment we'll go to before we get TheRichard and Bunyon's final thoughts.
And the beat goes on, says, thank you for knowing that, Bunyon. You're right. He's no Jacko?
Jacobosaurus. But he's great, though. He's great.
Yeah, he is.
He was, sadly. Sadly, both of them passed away about the same time. In the mid-'80s, sadly.
I was so into movie and TV shows that music wasn't popping for me.
Really good documentary. There's a really good documentary about Jacob Pastorius.
Yes, I've seen it. It's amazing.
It's really good.
Okay, so Tony, we'll go to you.
Produced by the current bassist of Metallica.
That's right.
Anyway,
final thoughts on the first 5 5 episodes. Yeah, first 5 episodes.
I'm gonna go the same score as Terje, 8 spam fritters, because we don't want to do the same things.
Right.
I like spam fritters, unlike a lot of people. I thought it was a really solid cap to this part of the season. Seeing all those characters was really interesting. It was just a fun episode, and it ended on a proper cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, dude, this has been great having you on these 3 episodes. You'll have to come back and hang out with us again sometime.
Yeah, if you do need an extra moderator, I'll be more than happy to help out.
Done, sir. Thank you. And here we go. Oh, where can people find you online?
Like Terje, I don't really do a lot of that stuff because I tried and I found it hugely frustrating. But I do have a Twitch channel which I keep meaning to start up, but I just I'm just like because I want to sort of do hangout sessions and play games. I'm working on some crazy ideas at the moment. There's a thing called Parsec, which allows people to play games on other people's computers, which is a really kooky, crazy idea. And I'm working on something based on that.
Is that using a mesh network?
Yeah, pretty much. But you can just download. Go to parsecapp.com. It works on not only on Windows and Apple, but it works on all the phone things and on iOS and the Androids and all that. Cool. And it basically allows you to the local couch co-op games, like the old wrestling games and things. You can play that, but also you can literally take over from someone. So if someone's playing like Doom Eternal and they can't get through a certain level, someone else can jump on. Yeah, someone else can jump on and do it for you. So but I'm messing about with that at the moment. But I might do a test at some point in the next couple of weeks, but I don't know. But these things happen. And obviously, I'm still moderating on the network as well, so I'm over there. Not at the moment, but I will be on there for the midnighter later today or tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ed, thank you very much. Like I said, it's been great having you for these 3 episodes, and thank you for volunteering to mod for us. That's amazing. And we will definitely have you back on the show in the future. Thank you
Tony.
Once again, Tony.
Really appreciate it, man.
And
then
there
it's this
was
guy,
TheRichard. Give us your thoughts on the entirety of the first part of Masters of the Universe Revelation, and kind of give us an encapsulation of where you think this thing is going.
It did not surprise me that the story went this way, because for something to be new, it has to be slightly different. And we knew that He-Man and Skeletor would be involved, and I found it fantastic that we were able to follow other characters, their POVs, and we got a lot of drama. We got a lot of personal interactions, a lot of relationship stuff, a lot of emotions. We get to see so many new villains and vehicles and old vehicles done right. And the cliffhanger, that makes a lot of sense also. And leading into what's got to be a massive battle. And so we're going to see a lot more characters. I kind of cheated, and I noticed that Stinkor is going to be back. Triclops is going to be back. So I looked for more motherboard action. That was so freaky. I love
that. Was my first girlfriend's name in high school, Stinkor.
All right.
Yours too?
We all had one, probably.
I remember her.
Of course you do.
She still has my boots.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, speaking of Tony Todd, I actually have his boots from when he was a guest at my store in 2013. He, for whatever reason, got into the car to go to the airport not wearing his shoes, and he left them in the car walking through the airport with no shoes.
Oh man.
So Tony Todd, if you're watching, we know where your boots are.
Right.
Yeah. I think we're in for some really good stuff, and anybody who actually watches the whole story, or at least the first 5, they should get a feeling that the whole story is gonna make sense. You got to have faith that it's gonna make sense. This is so well done. I think the quality, everything except for the voice acting, I'm still, but maybe they'll make some changes or whatever. I want to hear Merman and Beastman growl.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho,
so more of a cartoony instead of straightforward.
No. I'm not saying no. I want it to be straightforward, and exactly the way this one was. The first half of this, the first 10 episodes, they've got to totally flow together. It's got to be one continuous story. I could see if this is a success. But it already looks like we're having a season 2. If they wanted to do episodic adventures from time to time, that's fine, because you remember, actually the 2000X He-Man, the first 3 episodes were continuous, and then it went into kind of individualized with an overarching story. So, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I think yeah.
If you have to give this a score, I know it's hard to score because it's not complete, but the first 5 episodes, what score would you give it?
I'm going to be a little bit harder. I'm going to say 7.5. Even though I love it, the things that I don't like the King Randor and Merman, those really and her negativity. Those really sting. So I know my score for this is going to go up when we see the next 5. I know the overall is going to go up. A lot more things will make sense. We will see King Randor, if he's still alive, and he'll apologize, and the tone will shift back to. I think we're going to find a balance between what we're seeing now, which is really intense. I mean, we actually saw blood, and a little bit of the filmation. I think we're going to see a little bit. It's going to lean more towards that, not necessarily in the next 5 episodes, but in the season 2. I think it's going to get softer in certain ways, and I hope it stays hard though at the same time. If that makes sense.
It does. It does.
We need the humor. Orko was always the humor, so we need more stuff like that. And Beastman was a buffoon, so we kind of need him bumbling, even though he was super badass in this. We kind of need that humor that's missing. That's another thing. So I will give it a 7.5, and I really, really, really like it. I've watched it 3 or 4 times now, and some in slow motion. And I'm going to paint some of the characters.
Cool. Well, Richard, dude, thank you, man, for agreeing to do this and getting a little crew together and walking us through this thing over the last 3 episodes. It's been really fun. Also, thanks for being a moderator for our channel and helping us grow. That's a huge gift for us. Where can people find you on the internet?
I'm everywhere. I'm every woman. Okay. Obviously, you guys know PGS and all of that.
Yeah.
Midnight Metals and everything. Also, you check out Masters of the Universe, TheRichard's Art and Revelations on Facebook. And I've got a friend who's helping me do a website as well, because I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of paintings, and right now I think I've got like 10 Masters of the Universe. By next week I might have 20, I don't know. And then I'll start venturing back into doing other regular movies and everything. So I highly suggest, and you can go to any of my movie groups. I've got like 15 different groups. I got groups about animals, critters of all shapes and sizes, it's called. I've got a food group. Just look up my name, Richard Wilson, on Facebook, and I'm also on Twitter. Rarely check it, but I'm everywhere.
Okay, great, dude.
Well,
like
thank
I said,
you for being here, sir.
thanks for being here. Thanks for bringing this to us, and we'll see you in the chat.
Yep. We'll see you
Thanks,
soon,
buddy. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
There was a couple of late comments that came in. Todd Michael says, "Hurry up, Scott needs a cigarette." Yeah. Right.
Todd Michael knows me.
Yep. And the beat goes on, says, "Great pod. Awesome. Thanks for being here. We love it."
Thank you. ATBGO. Terje, seriously, dude. Terje, I married a motherboard, or did I misspell that? No, I think you spelled it correctly.
Okay. Well, that was a long one, but it was a good one.
Well, we knew it was going to go long today. Yeah. I'm kind of curious as to what happens tomorrow when it's just you and me doing the regular thing, now that we've had this epic 3-part retrospective on it. But I'm looking forward to part 2 of Masters of the Universe. And as always, man, I love doing these shows, and I'm looking forward to doing another one with you tomorrow.
Before we do that, though, I would like to get your opinion on the totality of the 5 episodes. What did you think, and what kind of score would you give it?
I hated it. I thought that they sidelined He-Man.
Too fucking woke.
Yeah, Tila was this, like, it was... All kidding aside, I thought it, and I mentioned it earlier, I thought it was a really good reminder of why I liked He-Man as a kid. It is basically a toy box with colorful characters that are going off of a crazy exotic land, having adventures. When I was a kid, I didn't really care that Tila was there and was a chick. I didn't care that Evil Lyn was powerful or any of the power dynamics based on gender or anything. And so watching this, it all sort of washed away, and I didn't have to think about anything political. I just watched a story of the Masters of the Universe in Eternia. And
by the way, it's a cartoon, folks.
But I don't want to dismiss something.
You're 100% correct. I don't want to dismiss it like that. But people are getting way fucking blown out of proportion over a piece of material that's on TV.
And the frustration for me is the people who are getting this angry about something that they A, didn't have a history with, or B, didn't bother watching the full story, which I haven't even seen yet. I've only seen the first half of the first part. And so the outrage, and the outrage is what the outrage is. It is for clicks. No one gets popular by saying, you know what? I liked it.
Yeah.
So, we will maintain our position of being unpopular by saying, you know what, dude? I liked it. I'll give it the 8 ham bones or whatever Terje wanted to give to it. I will. I'm not going to be as harsh as Richard. And you know what? Having Richard downgrade his review to a 7.5, that's the kind of response that I would expect from a diehard fan saying, you know what, there were problems with it. I'm going to drop it down a little bit, but ultimately I was satisfied. I'm with Tony and Terje in saying, yeah, that was an 8 out of 8 in me wanting or getting what I wanted out of a Masters of the Universe cartoon. Yeah.
Okay. There's some late comments. Let's just run through them real quick.
The Winter Soldier sucks.
Yeah.
That's what she said. The Richard. That's TWSS. That's what she said. Okay. Yes. Kip Ellis. Hail, folks. Hey, Ahoy, Kip. And Darius Munchausen, how are you? Hail at the Fantasmagorium show. Thank you so much, Darius. Ahoy. And hail at the Richard and me. And I'm sure he meant to include you, Steve.
Chopped liver over here.
Well, That's sorry.
Okay. That's right.
Darius Munchausen. It's fine. And hey to Kip Ellis. Yeah, no, you're done. No.
All right.
Darius Munchausen.
I'm done.
Give a crap. Yeah, are we done? It's over.
I can't get a shout out. That's it. I'm done. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
thanks for coming. Thanks for participating in the chat. We love that. Scotty, this was fun. It was a good time. Long one today. Almost 2.5 hours. We will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We'll run down the news. Obviously, we won't be talking about this anymore, hopefully.
until the next one, yeah.
Until part 2 comes out, and then jeez, man, that's going to be, there'll be more to hate on, I'm sure.
Well, let's hope. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Darius. You are a kind and gentle man. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll all wash away and no one will care by the time the next one shows up, and it'll just show how
maybe they'll have actually watched the 5 episodes.
I wouldn't hold your breath, bud.
Yeah. All right. So for Terje, Tony, and TheRichard, and of course my partner Scotty R37, I am Steve Foley. Have a great day, everybody.
See you guys.